Hi there everyone, Sides Pyro7 here, and happy National Fossil Day 2025. Yay! So, just like last year, I will be showing off my entire collection. I will say I put a little bit of thought into whether or not I should, but I'll get into that in a quick bit. Right now, I'll be showing off things that I forgot to show last year, simply because I either forgot I had them, or they were acquired too close to Fossil Day to make it into the video. So first off, we've got fossils from the John Ball Zoo. These were a similar situation to the Shreveport Aquarium, where I had a bag of dirt and had to pour it into water to sift through it and find the fossils. I previously had them in a bag. Now they're all in their own individual containers. We have unidentified objects, gastropods, amber, petrified wood, and a sea urchin, coral, clam, brachiopods, crinoid stems. Pretty sure this is a trilobite, and shark teeth of varying genera. These are fossils that my sister found in one of our local parks. This is a horn coral. Looks quite a lot like my prognathodon tooth, but it is horn coral, probably Devonian aged. And this top part is probably a branch coral of some kind. If not, it's a bryozoan, which those are basically coral, but slightly more advanced, evolutionary speaking. Got half an ammonite from an antique store. This one's actually pretty cool because it's cut in half, so you can see the chambers that would have been filled with air and helped it with stability in the water column. A singular polished Orthoceras. Nothing really on the bottom of this one. Got this box of fossils from the Mississippi Aquarium around Biloxi, Mississippi. Let me open it up real quick. There we go. Okay, this box is filled with a bunch of sea creature fossils. So there's a lot of shark teeth, there's some fish bones, a couple stingray tooth plates, which have always reminded me of graham crackers for some reason. And it comes with an ID card that quickly goes over sharks lose a lot of teeth, a very, very simplified version of the fossilization process, and says that these fossils come from Cretaceous and Eocene Northwest Africa. So the types of fossils that are in this box are stingray tooth plates, Carcharias hopi teeth, Ceratolomna asherseni teeth, fish or shark vertebra, Otodus obliquus teeth, stingray tail spines, and Cretolomna biauriculata teeth. My sister and I got some Triceratops bone fragments at a STEM fair in Louisiana back in 2016 or 17, I think. These are some of the oldest fossils I have at all in my collection, at least in terms of how long that I've had them. These are some shark teeth that I didn't include last year because I didn't know what genera they belonged to. I still don't, but I have a better idea now than I did last year. These two in particular caught my eye. This one I think might be Striatolamia, which was an Eocene-aged, I think, sand tiger shark, but I could be wrong there. And this one is most likely Otodus obliquus, and also happens to be one of the oldest fossils I have collection-wise as well. And a big slab of Orthoceras. This is actually really heavy. I think 8 pounds last time I weighed it. It's got some on the bottom that are unpolished. This was a end of school prize I got for finishing 11th grade last year. And now with all the forgotten stuff out of the way, that leads me back to why I was considering not making a Fossil Day video this year. And that's simply because I don't want this video to seem like I'm bragging about all these cool different fossils that I personally have. That's not at all what I want to do. I just want to share my love for paleontology, show off some genuinely cool fossils that I have, and document the general growth of my collection so I can compare it to what I have in, like, say, 5 years. This, after all, was my collection 5 years ago when I lived in Louisiana, and now it looks like this. And now, with that preamble out of the way, let us commence the 2025 Fossil Day Showcase with my fake stuff. Nice, yeah, we're starting off with my fossil casts. I don't really have a lot of fossil casts. I'm a lot more interested in the real stuff, but I have some. This here's a Megtooth, very obviously. It is, hard plastic. Came in a shark kit. I don't think it was a shark tooth kit, but it came in a shark kit. I got, like, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, I think. A T-Rex tooth mold that I got to make during a behind-the-scenes event at the Indianapolis Children's Museum in 2023. It is life-size, but it is not full-size. A shark tooth I got in Dinosaur Ridge when I was out there this summer. I don't know what genera or genus it's supposed to belong to, but it looks familiar. And a Growlither trackway, also acquired at Dinosaur Ridge. Yeah, That's really all my fake stuff, all my casts. Onto the real fossils now. This particular area is, well, one of my dinosaur shelving units, but it does have a section dedicated to fossils. It's a mixture of stuff I've found and stuff I have been given. Here we got brachiopods. These two small ones and these two larger ones are recurring specimens. I showed them off last year. These were all found in the same area, one of our local parks. This one's in Sylvania Fossil Park. Here's an ammonite, and actually I have another one back here, a lot bigger. These two were purchased at the Cincinnati Museum Center, as were these two Orthoceras rocks, I believe. The trilobite got an antique store. I'm reorganizing my fossil display setup, so these are just the same crinoid stems and Orthoceras pieces from Shreveport Aquarium that I showed last year. Got some fish bones from Morocco. Well, also an antique store, but they're fish bones that came from Morocco. And a mosasaur tooth and an otodontid tooth, both of undesignated species, purchased during the Billings Productions animatronic dinosaur factory tour. That was fun. And over here we got an ammonite, a nice shiny one, purchased at Dinosaur Ridge this summer in Colorado. Orthoceras from last year. A rock with a plant, and some Jurassic-aged brachiopods from Montana this summer. One of the plants I showed last year. Some brachiopods from Sylvania Fossil Park. And 3 Spinosaurus teeth from an antique store, once again. These Spinosaurus teeth are actually a bit more red in color than the other ones I have. All this talk on brachiopods brings me to the fossils I collected at Trammell Fossil Park, of which a good amount of these are brachiopods. There's 3 different genera here: Raphanusquina, I haven't figured out how to pronounce it yet, Hebertella, and Platystrophia. And there are also 2 different types of bryozoans, which, like I said earlier, are basically slightly more advanced corals. We've got Constellaria and Heterotripa. And on this rock, there's also some little circular things that I am uncertain on. Let me look on what they're called again. Isaurophis, it turns out they are. I really do not know what kind of creatures they are. I have to do more research onto those guys. And additionally, these brachiopods I collected at a different park, as well as this full-on crinoid that I got at an antique store. And now we move on to specimens in my main display shelf, starting off with stuff in containers, just like last year. Here's a Triceratops tooth. Pretty cool second Triceratops fossil I have at all, so far anyway. Also purchased at during the Billings Productions animatronic factory tour. Pretty neat. An Abyssomedon jaw with 2 teeth. Really small Permian reptile. Got some Hybotis teeth, which is a 6-foot shark from the Triassic until Cretaceous. This one's another multi-piece one. The little round shape on the left is a Brachychampsa tooth, which is a Cretaceous crocodile from Montana, and the other 2 are Squalicorax teeth. The small one up top is Squalicorax falcatus, and the bigger one over here is Squalicorax capi. This is another 2-piece one. The big thing on the right is orthocanth cartilage. I'm not sure if it's Orthocanthus itself or one of its close relatives, but that's like cartilage. And the tiny thing on the left is a nurse shark tooth of Cantiocilium, a Cretaceous-aged nurse shark. And then I've got 2 teeth from an antique store, a great white shark tooth, which makes it the first fossil of a modern animal I have, and another Spinosaurus tooth, a pretty big one this time around. Got 2 shark tooth necklaces. This one I think is probably Otodus obliquus. Not really sure. I've had it for a really, really long time. I want to say since 2013 or 14. This is a Cosmopolitodus hastilis tooth, also purchased at Billings Productions. Have a few brachiopods. I don't know what kind this one is, but it's from Devonian, Michigan. This one is Reticularina, and this one is Mucrospirifer. I would have to assume Mucrospirifer mucronatus. Got a trilobite from the Cincinnati Museum Center. These 2 are Lophophilidium. They're horn corals from Carboniferous Midwest US, so like Kentucky, Illinois, that general area. Just some bonus shark teeth I got as bonus fossils from previous online purchases. I don't know what kind this one is. This one I also don't know, but it looks like my larger confirmed Squalicorax falcatus tooth, so it might be the same animal. 3 Orthocanthus teeth, 2 fragmentary and 1 complete. You can see the serrations on the large one, pretty cool. This here's a Mixterosaurus limb bone. It's a Permian-aged reptile, again, just like Abyssomedon, just a bit bigger. Don't really know a lot else about it, can't find much information on it. This is Squalicorax bassani tooth from Morocco, pretty cool. This is the one I presented last year, didn't know there was more than one species. This one is Squalicorax pristodontis, lived around the same area from what I understand. Here's 10 Cretolumna maracana teeth. Pretty cool, they're all different shapes and sizes. Also makes my 3rd or 4th Cretolumna species. A petal lotus tooth. Shark-like cartilaginous fish, lived, I believe, Carboniferous Ohio area, and had flat teeth for crushing shelled prey. Scapanorhynchus tooth. Cretaceous-aged goblin shark, essentially. I think maybe a little bit bigger than a modern goblin shark. Okay, these 3 I've already shown in the Sylvania Fossil Park video. I got them in a botanical garden. This one I think might be a bull shark. These 3 are tiger shark teeth, and this is a Hemipristis tooth. This thing here's a Carcharodon planus tooth from Miocene, California. It was originally in the Isiris genus, which is mako shark, but it's now part of the white shark lineage. Hexanchus microdon tooth, a 6-gill shark. Weltonia ancestrodon tooth, another hexanchiform or like 6-gill shark relative. Ichthyodectes vertebra. This is pretty cool. Basically a big 16-foot bony fish related to Zephactinus. And 2 Hemipristis teeth of the lower and upper jaw. Maybe of H. Sarah, not sure. It might be H. curvatus, but I'm thinking Sarah is more likely. 5 Paleophis maghrebianus vertebra. I had the bigger one first, the 4 smaller ones were more recent. An Eocene-aged sea snake. Globidens tooth, a pretty big mosasaur with round teeth for crushing hard-shelled prey. A crocodilomorph vertebra from Cretaceous Montana, I think might be Borealosuchus. Unidentified crocodilomorph tooth from Cretaceous Morocco. Thescelosaurus tooth in situ, or still in the rock. A small bipedal herbivorous dinosaur from the late Cretaceous period. Eocarcharia tooth, a smaller carchar dinosaur from mid-Cretaceous Niger. And you can see the serrations on this tooth as well. An undescribed abelisaur tooth in situ, in the rock. Also can see the serrations. An Elosuchus scoot, or osteoderm. It's a pretty big crocodilomorph, kind of Sarcosuchus sized, and lived with Spinosaurus. Hybotus, possibly obtusus, dorsal spine. Really cool little spikes on the bottom. 6-foot shark would have used this for defense against predators. Asterocanthus ornatissimus dorsal spine, a close relative of Hybotus, but a lot more rare. It's got little bumps along its dorsal spine, which is also used for defense. Double-sided leaf plate with a Calamites stem and a bunch of Neuropterus leaves. An unidentified crocodilomorph vertebra that also comes with a display stand. A Tylosaurus rib, or at least part of one, from Cretaceous Texas. An Edestis jaw section with a complete tooth. It's pretty challenging to get one of these. A Hyaenodon tooth and some jaw pieces. This is the only mammal that I have, and one of the few Cenozoic species that I have. And then everything else on this shelf is stuff that I have personally found. Some plants from Montana, more plants from Montana. A really big brachiopod slab I got in one of our local parks. Some stuff from Sylvania Fossil Park, some stuff from Trammell Fossil Park, some carbonized wood, also collected in Montana. Oh, and also some stuff from Montana. A lot of what's over here brachiopods, but these are Gryphea, or like Jurassic-aged oysters, and these are belemnites, which are basically squids with hard shells inside of their soft bodies. Not to mention some other rocks that have not been properly displayed yet, but were also collected in Montana. So yeah, that's my fossil collection. Any fossils that come with an identifying paper or card I do keep for later purposes. And if they don't, I do my best to try to document whatever I can on a purchasing page. Unless it's stuff I've found, then I try to document it the same way. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing how my collection grows in the next year. And by that extension, 5 years. Maybe I'll have a full-on sea scorpion. Maybe I'll have a Moses sword jaw. I don't know. It's a possibility. And to end things off, I've got 2 different memes I found on r/OkBuddyPaleo. They are both very fitting. Alright, that's it. See you next time. Oh yeah, once again, happy National Fossil Day 2025.